Coming up this Sunday morning on Designing Texas, tour time takes us down the Colorado River, that is. Bella Home's Preston Hollow Showplace, the hills of Kingswood epitomizing elegance and grace. All that and more in store. Designing Texas starts now. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jocelyn White, and welcome to this edition of Designing Texas. April is here, and already the March winds and April showers have been behind us, but right now, for this next half hour, it's fair weather ahead. Up first, we travel down the Colorado River, or maybe it's even up the Colorado. Whatever, it's the Colorado River right outside of Austin, and a Dick Clark masterpiece as we go into the Designing America Vault for tour time.
I was driving down the street and very familiar with this neighborhood, and a sign was just being put in the street. And I put my brakes on, walked in, and talked to the real estate agent, and right then essentially made a deal.
You can see why Rick Hawkins became enamored of this property. Later, his fiancée did too. Architect Dick Clark was one of the first people that Rick called.
The first thing Rick says, I bought this house. The house is a good house. What I really bought is the lot and the view. The house is good enough house. I want to redo it. I don't want to tear it down and build all new. So let's go from there.
That redo wound up being a whole lot more. The Dick Clark team found structural damage that needed to be fixed.
We took it all the way down to the studs, is what it amounted to. And in doing that, repaired all the problems areas. But once it was there, it opened up even bigger, possibilities of what to do, not just stop.
There were a lot of things wrong with this house, including this room, which was a big cavernous room that had very small doors and very small windows. In other words, shutting off one of the most spectacular views the city has. And so that was one of the first things we talked about, in addition to changing this huge cavernous room and bringing it down to a better scale by putting this mezzanine or balcony behind us.
There's probably 10 times as much window or glass or door surface open to view as there was in the original plan. But we want it to be a warm, soft elegance, still be a Texas house, not be something from somewhere else.
What's your favorite space? Where do y'all live?
We probably spend most of our time, of course, in the kitchen and the family room because we both work out of that space also. So, but I love this room. This room I think is my favorite.
I'd easily say the kitchen. I like to cook, and there's nothing like having a group of friends over and the space is large enough and to get your friends involved in the process too, and it becomes one, big workspace for everyone to be able to enjoy the kitchen at the same time.
And there's another surprise in the form of the existing guest house, otherwise known as the Cliff House.
It was totally uncoordinated with the previous main house. We wanted to coordinate the two. It also had such an incredible view. We wanted to keep that as a surprise. You should always have surprise in design. And it's a guest house, but it's also a place for Rick to have meetings. There's this dining room down there is a special dining area, also a presentation area.
It's multifunctional. Not only do the kids use it for parties, but we use it for guests, and also we'll have a lot of business meetings there.
You could just live down there and never ever have to leave. It's really wonderful.
From the homeowners to Dick to Emily Summers to project manager Susan Benz, this house is a team effort.
This is a very complex job with a lot of people, and Susan brought everybody together. She was fantastic. That's her specialty, is project managing.
I've known Dick a long time, and he is not only a terrific architect, but a good guy, and he made the project a lot easier. I mean, this was, as Karen said, it was a long, arduous process, and there were points along the way. If it weren't for Dick and his really wonderful staff, I'm not sure we could finish it and the product speaks for itself. Dick did just an absolutely fabulous job.
It's always the payoff that, yeah, not that you've done somebody a wonderful house, that you've done a home for them. There's a difference between home and house. And
This is a home.
yeah, it's really a home. It gets used all the time.
I just love Dick Clark. He lives in Austin but was raised in Dallas, a true Texas boy. Now, another Texas boy by way of New Jersey perhaps is Tony Visconti. Tony is one of the best at what he does, and his new Preston Hollow home for Bella Custom Homes is a showplace indeed. But Tony says the most important thing about any home can just be that first impression. I guess you could say it all comes down to opening the front door.
Hi, I'm Tony Visconti, owner of Bella Custom Homes. We've been building in the Metroplex for over 25 years now. Come on in, let me show you one of our homes. Like any work of art, the first impression is very important. So you want to make sure it stands out. And that's why we use SOLARA iron doors. Well, I've been working with SOLARA doors for almost 20 years now. And they're a great, great company. They take great pride in their craftsmanship. So when you're building a house, $14.5 million, you've got to make sure you've got the best craftsmen that you can get your hands on to custom design and make these doors that you want to make for the house.
Tony and I meet with all of the clients throughout the whole process, whether it's starting with selecting a lot or if they have a lot already. But we meet with them at the architect's office to design the plans. We spec the house, we bid it out, and then the fun really starts when the construction starts.
When a client is looking for a building site, it's a little bit of a scavenger hunt. I would say that there are definitely very few lots available in Preston Hollow today. Because I have a relationship individually with many realtors in the area, and because I have membership in multiple realtor networking groups, I can use those resources in order to find the lots that may not be available on the open market.
This team comes together and we work cohesively. And then we take all our craftsmen that have been with us. When we find these craftsmen and these artisans that can do this work, we take them, we keep them, we mold them, and we develop them. And they want to stay with us because they're a part of something so significant and so beautiful. They can tell people that they worked on this property. And they want to go from job to job to job with us because they like being part of something so significant. When we build for somebody, we don't want to meet their expectations. Our intent is to exceed their expectations. I want them to walk into a Bella Custom Homes and go, oh my God, I can't believe this is what we got. That's my intent when I build a home for a client.
At Bella Custom Homes, we like to meet all the needs of our clients and help them build their dream home.
Thanks a lot, Tony. You know, one of the main points of doing this show is to celebrate the architects, the builders, the designers and decorators who make Texas homes so special. Tony Visconti and Bella, case in point. And also case in point, our next guest on the show. He's a regular. He is our designing Texan, Gary Riggs. And so what are we talking about today?
Well, Jocelyn, today we thought it'd be really fun if we took you to a project that we're working on in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, I've been hearing about this one.
And we thought it would be fun to kind of look at everything and kind of see the process a little bit. Now, this home isn't going to install till probably into the fall or late fall. So it'll be fun to kind of see it all put together. Where this kind of began is the painting that's here behind us. Everything is kind of coming from there that's starting and anchoring out through the house. We're standing here at the dining table, and
Which is beautiful.
It's 10 feet long, so it's going to be real grand. And then we've got the chairs here that have got this plaid on them.
Oh,
and it's going to be
soft.
And then if you look behind you, then down just off the entry and the dining room, then is the hall bathroom. So we're going to put this on the wall in there. So it'll have, you know, and the trim in the house will be white. So it'll be real graphic looking and really kind of bold with that kind of big pattern.
So what room is next?
Well, then from the entry and all of that, then we're going to transition and go right into the family room or the great room. This is the main living area of the house. And then then we're kind of pulling that same coloration around, because as you'll see later, when we get into the breakfast area, we're going into more of this electric kind of blue. So the sofa is going to be in this plaid right here, this window pane, and then chairs will be in this.
Plaid's just a classic, isn't
Well,
it?
it works really well, and because it's that window pane, it's a little more graphic, and so it feels a little more modern.
It does.
The sofas are very transitional, track arms, and so what you'll have, and then we'll have pillows in this soft lavender, so then we're pulling that around. Then we've got other fabrics too that we're going to do some things with that's going to really, you know, kind of pull everything around. We'll throw a little bit of this
Makes it
in
pop.
like an accent chair or something to just give a little bit of interest as you go.
Now, my favorite rooms are always bedrooms, so what do you have in store there?
Well, in the master, we've just gotten the beginnings of. We've got a beautiful tufted bed in a really nice neutral fabric. And then there's a dark frame on that bed that's going to be really pretty. And then, but we're going to contrast the nightstands and do something in a lighter, more of a grayish kind of taupey kind of finish with a really pretty stone top on it. And then from there, we'll go into the guest room. And we've got one of the guest rooms pretty much finished as far as everything pulled together. And so what we're doing here, the beginnings of that came from this leather bed.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And we've got this chest, and that's really cool because we've got the fabric in the front and on the side panels.
Yeah.
So it's making it kind of masculine, but still soft. And then we're looking at this then for the drapes.
I
Makes
could
it a
go
lot of
stay
fun.
in this guest room
Yeah.
very easily.
For sure.
Gary Riggs, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Up next, we're at home in the hills of Kingswood, and later it's spring, so it must be time for a garden or landscape plan. Designing Texas will be right back.
What do you see when you look in the mirror? Is your tummy pooching over? And no matter how much dieting or exercise you do, nothing works? Maybe you want a little or a lot more, or maybe a little less of a cup size. Do you see some extra jiggle under your arms or thighs that make you feel insecure? Dr. Robert True is triple board certified and specializes in making you feel beautiful from the inside out. Call today for your free consultation. No matter what you see, the solution can be found at True MD.
In the United States, 7.4 million adults are affected by restless leg syndrome. If you or a loved one suffer from RLS, you're not alone. There is help. The RLS Foundation has resources available to provide support, education, and awareness of this common and often misunderstood neurological disease. Become an RLS Foundation member today and help us find a cure. More strength, more knowledge, more hope for a cure.
Hello, everybody. We're at home here in the hills of Kingswood at Mike Jones' home, which he is allowing us to use as our set today. I'm Jocelyn White with John Zazelka. And John, we missed you last month.
Well, Jocelyn, I really miss you too, and I wish I wasn't on assignment, but you announced that beautifully for me. Thank you. It's great to be here with you today.
And you got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm just going to let you take it away with the 360.
Well, thank you, Jocelyn. Very excited to be here on this beautiful day at home in the hills of Kingswood. And our 360 for today is the absolute beautiful nature that surrounds us. The trees have just blossomed, and the altitude where we're at the hills of Kingswood will give us a view practically of all of Frisco laid out beneath us and before us. And we just completed and had approved our new phase 3A. And we're so excited about having our builders, which are wonderful. Sharon Webb has chosen to be the first builders in Phase 3A. We'll immediately start Phase 3B, and we're doing the master planning on some wonderful, beautiful lots over the next phases that we're going to start here over the next year. So welcome to the Hills of Kingswood, and special welcome today to one of our builders, Ron Davis, who is building a house that has to be seen to be believed.
So many great things are going on in our show home in the Hills of Kingswood. I'm looking at this beautiful tile here from Natural Selection that you install in our home. What's going on next? Tell me more about these tiles.
Well, to give you a little overview of the tile we have demonstrated here, these are the master bathroom selections for your model home in the Hills of Kingswood. So in addition to this, we've installed tile in the secondary bathrooms, we've installed in the utility room as well as the wood floors, so that's all in progress. And next up for us will be the tile here in the kitchen. So we're going with something super modern, a recessed gray subway tile, which will kind of fit the whole modern motif. This is a handcrafted glass tile from Oceanside Glass Tile. It's a recessed subway tile, which really has a nice modern aesthetic, which will fit nicely with the home.
There's so many other beautiful tiles. What about this one here?
Well, that's an example of the floor tile in the master bath. So this here is a marble from Artistic Tile. This is going on the master bathroom floors, a nice textured white tile for the walls.
Beautiful. This
gorgeous.
Is beautiful. Right here.
It is beautiful. And this is used in conjunction with this water jet braid cut tile. It really will be stunning.
I understand you're about to complete the installation. Did you have any issues, any problems getting the product or anything like that?
Well, we are completing the installation soon. There were a few custom tiles, so we did have some lead time issues, and things are slowly trickling in, but when you're building a custom house, you use custom products, and they do take a little bit longer. As always, it's a pleasure to be part of your projects, and we're excited to see the unveiling of the show home in the Hills of Kingswood, and we look forward to seeing the finished product. It'll be wonderful.
You're a great partner for us.
You're a great partner. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron.
And today we're going to talk about Reynolds Signature Homes and the elevator that's going in by D&D Elevators, and you've met them before. It's going to be really special. It's a 3-story house because it sits on the edge of a hill with fabulous views, and D&D is doing a wonderful job. And they've just received shipment of the elevator, and it will be installed as soon as it's sheetrocked, which should be shortly. And I wanted to talk about J. Douglas Design. They're working at the moment with C. Michael Jones Design Build, and it's going to be really special when it's completed and installed. And that, folks, is our 360.
Thanks, John. You know, one of the many artisans who've contributed to the fabulous show homes we have here at the Hills of Kingswood is Chandler Cabinets and Josh Chandler. A lot more goes into building a cabinet than you may think, and especially now that Chandler Cabinets has gone high-tech. Josh explains.
Yeah, we're going to show you how a CNC router works, and as we cut this piece of material, I'll explain what it's doing. We're line boring the end panel. A line boring is a set of holes that you use for adjustable shelves. So the shelf pins for adjustable shelves, this is a hole the machine makes for that pin. Okay, so what you just saw was CNC router working, and what it does, essentially you take a sheet of material, whether it's 4x8, 5x8, 5x10, whatever it may be. We take that sheet, we set it on the machine, and we dado it, and then it cuts it to size. And when that's done, the machine prints off barcodes so that each piece has a barcode so we can scan it, we know exactly which one it goes to. So all cabinets will end up in the same area that go together, and then each cabinet gets assembled with the parts that go with that cabinet, and it speeds up production, and everything's really precise.
With the amount of volume produced by the style and roll machine, it helps them cut and organize every job individually, saving time and money.
The style and roll machine optimizes the yield, and it also speeds up production. The speed of that machine is unmatched. When the machine cuts it, it reads it, measures it, cuts it. Each part gets a label. It also separates it into different piles for our employees. So the person that's taking the wood out of the machine knows exactly which pile it goes in because it's all labeled. Saves labor cost and material, speeds up production.
The finishing line machine is the latest addition to the Chandler Cabinets arsenal of equipment, keeping them on the cutting edge of technology.
This is one of the newest and latest purchases that really elevated our quality and also the speed of our business too. It does the stain, the sanding sealer, and the lacquer, and it does it with almost zero waste. So the yield on the material is very good. That helps the bottom line so that we can sell our product at a reasonable price.
With clients like Mike Jones, Ron Davis, Shelley Reynolds, and all the new show homes here at the Hills of Kingswood, it is no wonder that Chandler Cabinets are the go-to guys for quality cabinets. Look for more to come in the months ahead. A lot of ground we covered in this month's show. So John, what are you going to be doing for Easter?
Well, Jocelyn, we did cover a lot of ground, and this Easter I'm so blessed to have my daughter and son-in-law, Jen and Will, flying up from San Antonio with my 2 granddaughters, a 4-year-old and a 3-month-old.
Yeah, sounds to me like the Easter Bunny's going to be busy at your house.
Easter Bunny's definitely going to be overworked.
Yeah, and my mom and I are going to dye eggs as we have for a number of years. Anyway, we're at home here in the Hills of Kingswood. We think you should be too. We'll see you next time. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Are you ready to start building the home of your dreams in the Hills of Kingswood? For more information on builders, vendors, and more, go to hillsofkingswood.com or contact Sharon Webb for your own private tour through the Hills of Kingswood. Call 214-212-2004. She'll meet you at the gate.
Welcome back to Designing Texas. We're in the home stretch. This time of the year, we think about our gardens and moving outside. So what do you need to kind of do for a checklist? Master gardener Annette Lee of Fort Worth has the answer. She is our Designing Texan outdoors.
Hi everybody, I'm Annette Lee. I'm a Tarrant County Master Gardener, and I'm getting ready to start planting for spring. And I moved here 25 years ago from back east, and I thought, wow, I'm moving to Texas. I've got the most awesome climate to grow plants and garden. I was so excited, and the first year I killed it. The reason I killed it was I didn't know about Texas native plants. I didn't know about perennials. I didn't know about the most important thing, which is soil preparation. Getting a good organic soil mixture for your containers, your beds, and your flowering pots. Also, amending your soil. If you have what we all call the clay that's hard, you want to soften that up and you want to add viability to the soil. By adding compost and soil amendments, you're able to amend your soil and have better soil viability, which makes your plants flower and bloom and grow. And a couple of other things that will help your garden in the spring and throughout the summer is plant selection. A lot of people ask me, what is the most important thing about plants? I said, well, you know, it's not just the plants, it's where you place them, the amount of sunlight, and also annuals and perennials. A lot of people ask me, what's the difference between an annual and a perennial? An annual plant comes back and just grows one season. A perennial plant will grow and die off and come back the following year. You want to select plants that can tolerate the heat and using with water restrictions, using less water. We have some beautiful Salvia gregae and some Blackfoot daisies and some lemon coral sedum as an example of some good heat tolerant, drought resistant perennials. Also, we've got some good annuals that you can mix and match in with your perennials to give you beautiful color throughout your whole planting season. Those are my tips to help you be a successful Texas gardener.
Good advice from Annette. And now for advice for a place to dine. Kathy Fielder steps a little outside her genre and takes us to Gemma. Enjoy.
Hi, we're celebrating at Gemma Restaurant, one of my favorites in town. I'm a big fan of your restaurant, Allison, as you know, and come here often. Tell me about the style of the restaurant. How would you define it?
Well, in loose terms, we call it modern American. And the reason we say modern American bistro, if you will, is that we can do a little bit of everything. So we do house-made pastas, we do fresh seafood. Really, it's based on the seasons.
Absolutely.
So it's all based on so if it's summer, you'll see summer produce on the menu. If spring, the same thing. So anything you see is what we find in the markets today. So everything is fresh and delicious, and you don't have to really manipulate the food so much.
So yeah, and the decor. So did you kind of do the decor yourself, or?
Yeah, Stephen and I both designed the restaurant ourselves. We had a contractor, but we had an image that we wanted for this restaurant. It's really small, and we wanted it more open, light, airy. You could say coastal feel. We wanted people to come in here and feel more relaxed, have really great food, being in a friendly atmosphere, and not too uptight.
You know, one of the things that I really do love about your restaurant is the food is approachable and it's relatable. And so Chef Stephen created an amazing dish for us today that you actually can make at home that's delicious, easy to do, and very impressive. So show us how to make this salad.
Right, so it's super easy. We're gonna take the vegetables and just kind of mix those in. You could use anything that you wanted to in here. You could put carrots or cucumbers or daikon radish. We have some cilantro. We're just gonna put a few of those in. And we have some torn mint leaves. We are gonna put in some red Fresno chili peppers. They aren't super hot.
Okay.
They're kind of like a mild jalapeno. Then we're gonna put in our cashews here. We've toasted these for a little bit. I'm gonna squeeze in a little bit of this vinaigrette here. This vinaigrette has no oil in it whatsoever. We are gonna put a little salt in here because we want everything to be seasoned. Then it's really as simple as putting it in the bowl. Since there is no oil in this dressing, it's good if it just marinates a little bit. This is just jumbo lump blue crab, and then we just pile that right on top of the salad here.
You paired a rosé with this crab salad, and I just wanted to hear a little bit more about it.
The rosé is Central Coast, California. It's called Toddler's Creek. We actually serve this on tap. If you really like wine, we actually do monthly wine dinners here at Gemma. We'll bring in some amazing winemakers or vintner owners from all over the world. We get a lot of people from Napa because that's where we're from.
And that's the Fielder Report. Southern?
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Kathy. And speaking of Kathy, she is the chair of this year's eQuest Gala, Humans, Horses, Hope at the Texas Horse Park. It supports equine-based therapy for people with PTSD or Down syndrome or children with autism. A great cause. And then my favorite luncheon of the year is coming up on April 27th, the Mad Hatter's Tea, and it benefits a woman's garden at the Dallas Arboretum. And so we've taken care of our business for the day, and that's our show. We hope that you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed the pleasure of your company. And we hope you'll join us again. The next show is May 14th, Mother's Day, right here, as they say, same time, same channel. And home is, well, let's see, a gardening space. See you next time.